En esta película describe problemas reales y personajes reales, tal como él los sintió, tal como él los vivió. It's a partly autobiographical film because you moved to your childhood was in this neighborhood, right? And then your father was a broker, like the character that plays Lawrence Fishburne in the film. And you were only 12 when you moved to the community, 11, 12 years. And well, it's a classic, of course. It's a movie that it's a must-see for everyone. And I would like you to comment on this movie.
Well, I was the formation of the idea of that movie, Boys in the Hood, actually came up before I was even thinking about when I was formulating the idea of even being a filmmaker. As kids, me and my friends in the neighborhood, we would jump on the bus and we go to the movies all around Los Angeles. Translate.
Su idea de hacer esta película es mucho anterior todavía a esto, cuando ni siquiera pensaba que iba a ser cineasta.
And we would go to these movies and we would see people that did not look like us, they did not act like us. You know, it was like, it was different, you know, it's just like, hay mucha gente blanquito en las películas. It's like, qué lástima. It's like, you know.
That's not reality, right?
No, mi realidad. So I was like, I'm gonna make movies.
Entonces él decidió, yo tengo que hacer películas porque esto no es real, esto no es
about us.
sobre
nosotros. And so that's why I wanted to go to film school. I wanted to study and make and think about make movies. And then it came up that Spike Lee, who I met before I started film school, just before, a week and a half before I was going to college, I met Spike Lee. And he had just done one movie. And I saw what he did in the movie, and it was like black people in Brooklyn and a love story and stuff. And I was like, okay. And then I went, first thing I said is like, you know, say, my name is John Singleton, and I'm about to go to film school like you, and, you know, like, watch out, because I'm coming out hard, I'm coming hard.
You studied, basically, you wanted to be a screenwriter.
I wanted to be a director, but I knew I had to learn how to write screenplays to be a director.
Which is the most important part.
You have to write a blueprint. To be a director, you have to be able to, it's like an architect. You build a building, you know, you build something, you know, an edificio, you have to be able to make the blueprint.
Tienes que ser escritor, tienes que saber la sustancia de la película, es la escritura, es el guión. Y eso es lo que quería también dominar y poder tener control.
So you have to basically, you know, be able to write dialogue and set the scenario and stuff on paper.
Básicamente, establecer sobre el papel los diálogos, el escenario.
And so, you know, basically so that you're able to, when you do shoot the film, you basically making what's on paper real, you know.
Visualizar, tener muy claro lo que quieres hacer una vez que lo tienes escrito, que lo tienes sobre el papel.
Visual storytelling.
Exactly. Preferably with screenplay is a movie in words, but you usually, you know, it's nice to find ways you don't have, you know, that you have less dialogue, and you're able to thematically what you're trying to, themes of what you're trying to tell, you're interacting with the characters, you know, looking and looks and stuff instead of just talking.
No le interesa tanto rellenar las películas con diálogo y le interesa más el poder de la imagen, la fuerza de la imagen.
Because some of the best moments that we've seen in movies, world, you know, you remember what happened and what emotion, what you it. You don't remember the dialogue. You remember a moment, the characters on the screen.
Siempre recordamos los personajes y las imágenes de la película más que los diálogos.
And that's what I concentrate on.
Y en eso se concentra. Mr. Singleton, when the movie opens, I would like to read this quote. We can read that 1 out of 21 Black American males will be murdered in their lifetime. Most will die at the hands of another black male. Then we see the first images of the film, and you see a stop sign. That's the beginning of the movie. Estaba diciendo que al principio de la película hay un letrero que dice que 1 de cada 21 afroamericanos será asesinado, va a morir durante su vida, y que la mayoría, esto sucederá porque la mayoría serán ajusticiados, digamos, por otro americano negro. Esa es una cita. Would you like to comment? And what has happened 25 years later after? How is the situation today?
What, in South Central?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, actually, that movie opens with screen. You have that quote, and over that quote and the title of the movie, you drive-by shooting. You know what I mean? Like a drive-by shooting. And I had my friends at the time. This cat, he's a producer. His name DJ Pooh. I had him what's called on the rap albums of the 80s, they used to do these, and the albums were seen, and you would hear it. You couldn't see it, but you was, so I wanted to open the movie like a rap album, like, you know, you hear it, you know, these dudes doing the drive-by, you know what I mean? And it was just like you hear them shooting and people, and the quotes will come up, the title will come up, kind of like, it's like you hear a drive-by, and then it comes, stop. Yeah.
In perspective, has this situation changed a little bit? It's still.
It's a whole lot. It's changed a lot. It's not the like it was, you know, like in the 80s.
No es igual como pasaba en los 80. La película
And
empieza
they-
a mediados de los 80, luego se traslada al 71. Pero ha cambiado mucho la situación, no es igual.
In the 80s, it was wild because, you know, people fighting over the crack trade and everything and stuff, you know. But it's calmed down a lot. A lot of those folks have moved out. And some of them, you know, the whole complex, a whole generation of people are in jail, dead.
I also read that while the movie was being shown in the movie theaters, there were shootouts between rival gangs sometimes. I mean,
That was because of the time. It wasn't about the movie. It was like, you know, things happen blocks away from movie theaters that were showing Boys in the Hood. They said the movie is gravitating this element, but that was out. That was what was happening at the time. If they were showing, you know, the Beauty and the Beast at the drive-bys around the block, you know, it's like, so it's like that's what was happening in American cities right now. Make it like Boys in the Hood. Oh, you know what I mean? I was really pissed off.
well, right after this film came Poetic Justice.
Mhm.
And I would like you to talk about your relationship to Michael Jackson and his family. Janet Jackson is, yeah, because you did some video clips for Michael.
Yeah, well, it was a trip because for 6 months I was first Michael Jackson and then his sister Janet Jackson. It was really cool, you know. I was kind of adopted. It was great working with Michael. I worked with Janet, and it's funny because I always meet Michael Jackson. You know, it's like in the back of my mind I know it was on. So it's like when I met him, it wasn't like excited or nervous or scared. I was like, I'm just, just I knew I was so good because we were like working on. He had just put out the album Dangerous, and he was thinking about next video he wanted to do, and I was like, I want to do one of black radio is playing, you know. He's doing the thing between being and being an R&B. Used to be like, you're a crooner, you're an R&B star, and black people love you. You know what I mean? Like, I want to do. That's one of the hits that, we would think about the tracks, which ones. Remember the Time was the one I liked, and Treatment. And I said, and I would say stuff that I thought was gonna shock him. You know what I mean? And kind of cheeky and being like, okay. This, and I said, you know what? I want you to do a video with all black people in it. Like basically, like, the only way somewhere is when you like kind of have like, I don't give a fuck. People just like. He's like, okay. And I was like, okay. And then I was like, okay. All black musical. Busby Berkeley 1930s kind of dance thing, but hip, you know what I mean? Hip hop dancing in it and stuff, right? A little bit of hip hop dancing and making it in Egypt. And he was like, and I was like, oh shit. I said, so and then he came up with the idea, let's put a movie. Because his idea was doing videos would be like little mini movies. Wouldn't be like music videos, like a mini movie. So. And we shot it for like 3 weeks. You know what I mean? It's like, it was scheduled, but it was great because we were just for hours and hours and hours and stuff. A lot of fun doing that,
We got a Golden Globe nomination and an Oscar nomination.
Oh no, you're talking about Poetic Justice.
Poetic Justice.
I'm still on Michael. She haven't got the agenda yet. So it's funny because before I do the video with Mike, and I never really thought about this, but that summer before, I saw. So the summer before, I saw on the set of Steven Spielberg's movie. She was hanging out, and we didn't know each other very well. Junior high school, and I was like, I was excited to see her and everything and stuff, and she was but I was like, hey, you're not doing movies, and she was like, I want to do a movie, and I said, like, with a little bit of game, I was like, you know what, right now I think you'd be good for it. I'm right there, but I was pitching her, you know what I mean, like. She gave me her number, Janet Jackson gave me her number, I was like, oh. So I went home and started writing it, and then I started talking to her about it. And in between that summer and that fall, I wrote the script, do it, and got her to do it because she put me in a room with all her managers and her record stuff, and I said, listen, and mind you, I was 23, right? Pussy Boys in the Hood came out. I've been 22, but I was 23 when it was released. And they said, do you think Janet should do this movie? But here's the deal. You come out with another album, great. I'm sure it's gonna do very well. It's gonna be an album and everything. But if you come out with a movie, and then, and you put music in the movie, and then you get nominated for Academy Award for the music in it, album, what then? And then it's all these, like and it's like, what are you, a little Jewish man? They were like, it was like, oh, this is a great idea. So then Jan signed on to it, and then to the movie, move it together. And then like in the, Michael calls me up and says, hey, my music video, and I go manager, and then we start working on that. I was working on Remember Time just before I start shooting Poetic Justice. 6 months I shot Remember Time, and then that comes out, and then I go Poetic Justice with Janet and Pop.
Yes, and you were inspired by Maya Angelou's writings, poetry is the
Well, I'm inspired by poetry, but basically something different and hood, because I didn't want to do just the same old thing. I wanted to get out of the hood, so.
Quick,
We'll have a
no,
question.
no, no. If we can't hear, keep cutting it out. If we can hear you without a mic, yeah, without a mic, we can still hear you.
Okay.
Okay.
I just emote.
Podemos resolver el problema.
No, that's it.
Mejor sin el micrófono.
Ya, habla.
Necesita.
Ya, sí, lo necesitamos el micrófono para tomar la grabación.
Pero ya está.
Sí.
They're filming, so but they fixed the sound. They said.
Póngase
So you can just use the microphone. And they changed the sound, the receiver. Yes.
Okay. No problem.
Okay, so after this, 1995, higher learning.
Are you gonna go through all the movies?
No, no.
You got clear time.
Just 4 or 5 movies, and then we get to the
Okay.
conversation. What I think is some of the movies that have this impact.
Okay, good.
You go again to racism, sexual harassment, financial problems, and personal safety in the Columbus University. It's a movie in which the students from different races, from different backgrounds, from different countries, they try to get together, and it's based also partially on your experience while you were a student at USC University, right? And then it's interesting because at the end of the movie, instead of the end, you place the word unlearned. You would like to.
Well, it was just me being kind of like, young and idealistic and having a whole lot to say in my early 20s, and, having all those different characters, multi-ethnic characters, and having these different issues, and then, I thought what would be the most profound thing, to put at the end of the film is at the end would be like, show the American flag. I said, unlearn all this stuff. Thematically, I'm saying unlearn all this stuff that, they're teaching in terms of Western culture, in terms of manifest destiny, in terms of, so-called European superiority over people of color, and everything. So that was the reason I put that there.
The skinheads in the movie.
Yes.
Would you like to comment?
I mean, well, it's funny. I don't like skinheads, but I kind of was fascinated with that because in the early '90s, there was the same problems that we're having now, where there were white youths like going around trying to, be Billy Badass and having their skinhead white supremacy gangs. And I always thought, what if they had to deal with some real black people? They'd get their ass whipped. So I was like, oh God, I'm like a good scene where like Cube and like my boys and Bust and everything, like they squad with the skinheads, So that was the whole thing. I was like, and if you notice, there's a moment in how many of you have seen the footage of the LA riots? You know what I'm talking about? Well, there's a bad moment, but in the LA riots, it's shameful. But there was this white motorist named Reginald Denny. He had driven into South Central, and the brothers Florence and Normandy pulled him out of his truck, and one dude hit him with a brick, and then he danced like this, and he hit this, it wasn't even about Reginald Denny. It was just that he was a white guy in the Moore neighborhood, and all this stuff was happening with Rodney King. So there's a counterpoint to Rodney King getting beat and Reginald Denny getting beat, right? And people really didn't make that correlation because the cops beat.
Yes.
The cops beat Rodney King, but the dudes in the neighborhood, you know, and gangsters, they beat Brother Bennett. So there's a moment in High Learning where Randy gets beat up by his former roommate Malik, and he takes a napkin hold like a brick and hits him up on that, and he does that dance, the same dance that there's all these little things that you see in the films that, like, you know, if you really know the kind of thematic context that's in there, it works on a whole other level. And it's amazing because that movie, it's the same stuff now. You know, you watch the movie now, and you go, oh God, this is the same stuff. It's going on in America.